That was the Stranger Things Trap Remix meme song from Chill Beats. Welcome to the Rise Weekly Review for October 4th through October 11th, 2022. A shooting on Friday near Planet Fitness in Lansing left a man dead. 36-year-old Ron Johnson was killed in the shooting that occurred in the parking lot of the Planet Fitness located at 17675 South Torrance. According to reports, about 6:45 p.m., police responded to reports of shot fired at the location. Johnson was leaving the gym when he was struck by gunfire. When police arrived at the scene, they found Johnson with a wound to the body. Johnson passed away at the scene. Anyone with information on this or other Lansing crimes is asked to call 708-895-7150 or leave an anonymous tip at 708-895-7105. On Saturday, a woman was wounded in a South Shore shooting. According to reports, police found the woman after a call for shots fired on the 7100 block of South Bennett around 4:18 a.m. The woman was found with a gunshot wound to the face and lower body. She was taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center. She was last reported in critical condition. Anyone with information on this or other Chicago crimes is asked to call 311 or leave an anonymous tip at cpdtip.com. On Saturday, a 59-year-old man was wounded in a South Chicago shooting. According to reports, around 3:42 p.m., the man was on the street near the 8400 block of South Kingston. Two unknown offenders approached him. Both pulled out firearms and began opening fire at the man. He was struck in the left arm. He was transported to the University of Chicago Hospital and last reported in good condition. On Saturday, a fire occurred in an apartment in South Shore. Around 12:52 a.m., the fire department responded to calls at a residence located on the 7300 block of South Shore Drive. Officials say the fire appeared to have begun in the bedroom of an apartment. A 61-year-old man was taken to Trinity Hospital after exiting the apartment. He was treated for smoke inhalation and last reported in good condition. Police and fire officials are currently investigating the cause of the fire. During the week, 28-year-old Jose Orlando Cartagena was arrested for animal cruelty. Cartagena from Hammond was caught on video in September tossing and punching a dog on the 1900 block of North Maud in Chicago's Lincoln Park. A woman by the name of Paula Conrad recorded the video and shared it on social media. The video contained footage of Cartagena striking the dog along with the vehicle he was driving with license plates visible. On Sunday, a woman who was visiting a vet located at 3305 North California in Chicago saw Cartagena in the lobby and notified police. Police responded and arrested Cartagena. The dog seen in the video was at the vet with significant injuries. On Friday, passengers on an Amtrak train were left stuck on the tracks in East Chicago. The train had departed from Pontiac, Michigan, on its way to Chicago. A passenger reported to the NWI Times that the train had left Ann Arbor at around 7:20 a.m. During the trip towards Kalamazoo, the train struck a deer and its engine died. Another train arrived to tow the train around 11:30 a.m. However, on its way to Chicago, the train's brakes stopped working around 7 p.m. Passengers on the trains had no electricity or water until power returned around 10 p.m. Even as the power went back on, the trains did not start back moving until 11:20 p.m. Passengers claim Amtrak did not provide good information and just kept saying the train would be delayed. Police escorted some passengers off the train onto a road who saw other means to continue onto Chicago. During the week, the Indiana Department of Transportation announced several lane closures on 8094. According to INDOT, the eastbound on-ramps on I-80-94 by Calumet Avenue, Indianapolis Boulevard, and Kennedy Avenue in Hammond will be closed until October 16th. An additional eastbound lane on I-80-94 will also be closed. The roads are being closed as part of ongoing road work. Drivers are being urged to seek other routes during the lane closures. On Friday, the Environmental Protection Agency issued an order to the East Chicago Sanitary District to cease its discharging of wastewater into the Grand Calumet River. The EPA ordered the East Chicago Sanitary District to comply with the order by October 11th as part of the Clean Water Act. As we previously reported, a sewage break on September 28th caused raw sewage to flood the wastewater treatment site operated by the district. Since then, wastewater has been flowing out of a combined sewer overflow on the west side of Klein Avenue into the east branch of the Grand Calumet River. The EPA says this flow is about at a rate of 8 million gallons per day. The EPA has ordered the district to install bypass piping, repair the ruptured sewer pipe, increase communication with the public through a public service advisory, and post daily sampling results online. The pipe break was caused by a semi-truck that fell into a sinkhole on Alder Street. Community organizations are urging Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot to negotiate a resolution with the federal government over an environmental justice complaint. As we reported last week, the Lightfoot administration sent a letter to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development contesting charges of racism in decision making related to the location of industry on Chicago's southeast side. A complaint by environmental groups claimed the city violated the Fair Housing Act when it decided to move a recycling facility operated by Reserve Management Group to Chicago's southeast side. A letter by HUD agreed with a portion of those claims and threatened to withhold $375 million in HUD funding if the city did not reform its zoning and land use policies. The city alleges that HUD's investigation was characterized by misunderstandings, including over the claim by activist groups and major media outlets that General Iron was moved to the southeast side. The city claims that General Iron closed and RMG was building a new facility that still was not permitted to open. However, the decision for permit denial came after HUD shared its investigation's findings with the city. The city also claims that HUD's accusations contradict the EPA and that the EPA has jurisdiction over the matter. Environmental groups say the city should not be putting millions of funding for low-income residents at risk and have demanded the Lightfoot administration negotiate a resolution. The city of Whiting has signed a new contract with the city's firefighters along with other budget provisions. The Whiting City Council approved its new budget, salary, ordinances, and the labor agreement at the last city council meeting. The contract will provide a 4% salary increase in 2023, 2024, and 2025, and then a 3% increase in 2026. The council also approved city, sanitary, and public library budgets along with an ordinance fixing salaries for city employees and elected officials. The current budget amounts to an increase of $516,000 over the previous one for a final total of $9,249,460. Whiting firefighters are represented by Local 969. A new modern light industrial warehouse is finding a home on a formerly contaminated prairie in East Chicago. The Meisner Group has built a 249,000 square foot building at 4400 Homerly Avenue. The site was the former home of the Edward Valve plant, and the new site was built after environmental remediation. East Chicago Mayor Anthony Copeland estimates that the site could bring between 300 to 500 jobs. However, those estimates depend on what tenants the Meisner Group is able to secure to use the facility. The building, which cost nearly $20 million for construction, is designed to be used by a logistics or light industrial firm. A spokesman for Darwin PW Realty, which is involved with the site, claims they have been receiving interest from Italy, Europe, Chicago, Indiana, and other parts of the country. The spokesman said they hope to have the property leased in the next 30 to 60 days. According to the spokesman, the Chicago land market, which includes Northwest Indiana, is considered the second or third largest industrial market in the country after California and New York, New Jersey. The proximity to Chicago, which is the only market with all Class 6 railroads and the I-80 hub, along with all the nearby ports, including inland near Joliet, makes the area an ideal market for industry. Over the weekend, the Whiting Chamber of Commerce hosted its 7th annual Wickedly Whiting Festival. The vampire-themed event hosted on 119th Street included music, food, and craft vendors, costume contests, beer gardens, and live acts, including a fire-breathing sword swallowing and live flesh suspension act. This year included an act by Paranormal Investigation, which conducted a paranormal investigation of the Whiting Library. A costume party and contest were also held. Participants in the investigation each donated $10 to support the local public library. Over the weekend, neighbors in South Shore hosted 2 back-to-back events. On Saturday, Our Lady of Peace Church hosted the Giving from the Heart Harvest Celebration. During the celebration, churches, community groups, area gardeners, and other residents donated non-perishable goods and cold weather clothing that were handed out by organizers at the event. Event organizers said they collected enough food and clothing to serve 50 to 75 neighbors in need. This upcoming Saturday, the 15th, neighbors will unveil a puzzle wall and new community markers at 75th and Oglesby between 1 to 3 p.m. Refreshments and giveaways will be provided at the event. The wall is being created by the Central South Shore Area Council and the Active South Coast, which won a $5,500 grant from Change X's Urban Think Space program. Organizers are hoping the puzzle will be the first of many similar projects to transform outdoor spaces in South Shore. The puzzle includes 18 pieces that can be arranged into three images. One, a map showing Central South Shore community boundaries, an active South Coast logo, and a picture showing welcome in several languages. On Saturday, the Faith Based Committee hosted an Officers Appreciation Day. The committee donated meals for 20 to 30 officers for different time slots officers worked at. The committee held prayers and coordinated to give thank you cards and treats to officers at the 4th District Police Station throughout the day. According to a post on social media, several local businesses, political offices, and residents contributed to the event. Local area businesses donated to the event, including El Charro de San Francisco, Pudgy's Pizza, MZI Group, A Fantastic Massage.com, Fold the Folds of Honor, and The Invert. The Cub Scouts Troop 773, along with aldermanic offices of the 10th, 7th, and 8th wards, contributed to the event. 10th Ward political candidates Jessica Venegas and Peter Chico's committees also contributed to the event. Residents included Arthur Miller, Don Pelota, and Gabriel Romano. The committee is organized by former 10th Ward political candidate Richard Martinez, who worked with Sergeant Steve Haltack and Officer Fabio Valencia to organize the event. And that ends our weekly review for October 4th to October 11th, 2022. Thank you for joining us for this weekend review. Peace.